Yep, I'm jumping on the bandwagon. Why? Well, I've been around the block more than a time or two, and I think it's no better time than now to reveal what videos I covered that are the absolute bottom of the barrel. And yes, this includes videos I commentated on as Sloth Boy, since I haven't moved channels or anything. Also, no, the quality of my commentary on the video doesn't affect my decision. One last thing, I'm not qualifying their improvements since then, even if I end up bringing it up. I'm only judging the video's quality itself. So, if you're ready, we're counting down the worst videos I've ever commentated on.
But I want to talk about two groups of sexual deviants that are separate but are so much alike it's just plain puke-inducing. The pedophile and the homosexual.
Oh boy, I'm really digging up bones here, aren't I? Yeah, I know this video is old news and Jay Joyner's original channel is gone now, but I doubt he regrets the video even to this day. That doesn't matter anyway, since this video is utter horseshit. This guy went out of his way to research things that barely related to what he was talking about in some half-assed attempt to justify homophobia and making the tired comparison of pedophilia and homosexuality. It's downright bad. Oh, and he hasn't gotten any better, by the way. And he's a good example of why I just like these religious type of YouTubers. Basically, he's like the vigilant Christian, but people were smart enough to see how stupid he is. I checked in here and there to see what he's been up to with his new channel, and he seems to have transmogrified into some second-generation James the Preacher. Except Jay isn't nice enough to just be trolling. Seriously, I think even bringing his name up is giving him more attention than he's earned. Moving on.
You seriously need to rethink your life. Like, look at me. I'm in school band, Spanish, and advanced English. You don't see me screaming when all of those things get boring, and you're screaming about a children's show getting boring. I'd hate to see how you did in school, Enter. I really, really would hate to see it.
So it wouldn't be a worst list without KaBlam making one of the entries, and given how he's only number 9 on this list, that should tell you how bad the other entries are going to be. KaBlam's first commentary on Mr. Enter still stands as one of the worst commentaries from 2016, and is still one of the worst videos I've covered. The entire video was nothing but Weston blasting Mr. Enter for no other reason than the fact that he hates him. I still don't like Mr. Enter, but I at least know better than to go into a video of his and just complain about non-existent bullshit. The thing that really saddens me about KaBlam is that you know he can be an actual good commentator, if he puts in the effort to be one. We've seen that before with his commentary on Phantom Strider, where he actually made good points and well-constructed arguments. It still wasn't good, but it was at least passable. If only he'd stuck to rants and reviews, since that was clearly his niche. Hell, I remember even liking to an extent his rants at Mr. Enter. But enough wishful thinking. On to the next entry.
So not only are you a cancerously cringeworthy hipster and emo kid, but you're also an SJW, and you've now catalyzed into a full neo-fascist. People shouldn't have differing opinions because current year.
I hate this video. I still hate the fact that people put me on blast for simply defending a video Onision made, even though I don't even like Onision. I still hate the fact that Midnight Phantom doesn't have a shred of regret for the video he made. Let me sum it up here. Onision is an SJW. Free speech is dead. Hypocrisy, hypocrisy, insult. I'd be lying if I said I didn't find it enjoyable ripping his video apart though, especially since Midnight Phantom was a target on my wish list for quite a long while. Also, that summer was probably my most prolific year for my commentaries. I had doodle tone syndrome, so to say. So yeah, Midnight Phantom's video was complete bullshit and is one of the worst videos I've ever covered. Sorry if I didn't have a lot to say on it, it's just that his videos just are. You get what I mean?
That credits theme kicks in and it's like, holy shit, this is perfect. There was no need for a bunch of sequels giving us info that turned out to be mostly irrelevant, because just how unnecessary these games are far outweighs any goofy little moment they do slightly well.
This video still annoys me, but what annoys me the most is what I could have said. Looking back on it, there were points I really should have made the first time. If there's one thing I could tell every single person involved with stuff like these, it's that you should stop comparing things to predecessors, especially if the sequels were meant to change from the predecessors. Gaming Brit doesn't seem to get that. The whole video consisted of him just whining at minuscule at best problems and crying over how it's not like his precious Snake Eater. This doesn't even feel like a disappointment. It feels more like he just flat out hates the game. In that regard, his video is very misleading. No exaggeration, Gamertron's video about games he hates but everyone else likes is better than this. Cause at least in that video, he didn't hate the games because they weren't like the games he likes. Or at least, he didn't act like the games were objectively bad because they weren't the way he wanted them to be. That seems to be lost upon Gaming Brit. I'm not going to sit here and say that MGS5 was without any imperfections. I certainly had some complaints with it, such as how the game treats your mother-based staff as Snake, the combat fatigues for female staff are too bulky, save the sneaking suit and other gender-specific attire, and how customization options were very limited. But all of that stuff wasn't nearly enough to be a deal-breaker for me, since you can easily get past them. I mean, the only praise I can sing for Charlie's video is that he didn't piss his pants over Kiefer Sutherland voicing Venom instead of David Hayter growling his way through the game. It's almost like he went out of his way to disagree with everyone who likes this game. As Niall Hagen pointed out to me in the comments, Charlie is pretty much a contrarian, and an egregious one at that.
I don't really know if I trust sex opinions by A, feminist, B, a fucking condom angel, C, some dumb fucking four-eyed fake-titted twat.
I just had to include this video, not because of my arbitrary grudge against War Corps, but because this video alone highlights everything wrong with the bastard. Obnoxious insults? Check. Not even bothering to understand the topic? Check. Nothing of value worth tuning in for? Quadruple check. There's absolutely nothing more I can say about this video besides the fact that I should have been more harsh on him. He definitely deserves it.
Speaking as a middle-class straight white male, it's easy. You'll do fine.
Here's a solution. Take a different route to work.
That was easy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna waste any time here. You fuckers knew it was coming. If I had to draw a comparison to this video, it'd most likely be a video from Thunderfoot. And that's not a good thing. In this video, SFB pretty much says that catcalling is legally considered a crime, but that women who receive it should just deal with it. He even goes as far as to say that victim blaming doesn't exist while doing it himself. And that's all leaving aside the tired-ass anti-feminist arguments, down to the women have more rights bullshit, all the way down to there is no rape culture. This video is pretty much an embodiment of the idea of being blind to your own sexism. It also highlights most of my problems with the anti-feminist community, if not all of my problems with it. And I am not even joking there. It is that bad. I don't think that Tom is an inherently bad person who actually believes in racism and sexism, or at least I hope not. But this video seriously had no reason to exist, and I regret ever having any inhibitions to tackle it. I guess better late than never. And given how I've said all of that, and it's only number 5 on this list, can you imagine what's to follow?
And don't you fucking dare give me the bullshit about sexism being about the structures of power and privilege. That's not what it is. What sexism is discrimination based on gender. That's it. You fucking bent.
Hey, you know what's worse than recognizing misogyny but only being selective of what can be considered misogyny? How about denying that it exists? Well, that's what Jorm did here. Yes, really. Jorm's video on Jaded Culture is worse than a video that actually contains victim blaming. How? Because as bad as SFB's video was, he at least felt apologetic when he was called on his shit. And it didn't seem like he went out of his way to condemn feminists, because like he said, he believes it's important in third world countries. Jorm over here, went into the video claiming men are the most oppressed people in the universe and literally verbally abusing Jaded Culture. Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration, but he was horribly unlikable, and by the end of the video, I just was left wanting to stick a battle axe in his neck. He brought almost nothing to the discussion, had horrible editing talents, and his mic quality. Holy fuck. His other videos are not much better. In fact, there are worse than this. If I did cover those other ones, they'd all be on the list. I regret ever having to unlist my commentary on this, and I'd be doing a service putting it back up. I understand that Jorm has since left the community, but still, fuck this video.
I guess that would be the right words for it, because in this century, women have changed for the worst. And that is the result of what happens when females are instilled by an evil ideology, which is what feminism is.
Oh god, this video. If my commentary on this video was a flop, I'd have probably quit commentaries because of how easy everything was to debunk. Shadow Raven's video is legit cringe-worthy. Watching his video on its own is painful. And it seriously pisses me off how this video got blasted with hate. I will admit I said a couple of dumb things, mainly around the parts where he showed clips of women getting rowdy, but these types of videos just bring it out of me, you know? It's hard to contain yourself when a guy is literally sitting there reminiscing about the 1950s, a time period he certainly wasn't even alive for, and claiming how that's what women of any generation should be like, in servitude to their husbands and not even having any personality of their own. It legit sickened me when he actually said to go to countries like Russia and Poland to find a good wife. If I had to describe Shadow Raven, he'd be the bastard child of Red Pill philosophy and Davis Arini. Not even kidding. Because while he didn't display any white nationalism before his channel went down, I'm fairly certain he was, but he never got around to making a video about it. I'm just glad this idiot is gone.
I am going to deconstruct your life to the most base element. You're a loser. You don't have a job. This is not what I consider meaningful employment. If you have this level of bitterness to it, if you have this level of, you know, you almost have like a fickleness to it. Like you really don't sound like you enjoy it. Yeah, I have to kiss their ass because that's the only way they'll give me any fucking money, okay? Fuck you.
Hey, you guys need an example of how your response videos should never be like? Well, this video is pretty much all you need. First of all, there was hardly any exaggeration when it came to my frustration and insults when I co-opted with Justin on this video. I actually had to force myself to be calmer and a bit more diplomatic. That's how angry this video made me. What really gets me is that this video in question isn't even made by Brooke. It was made by Half-Boiled Hero, and it's on his channel. Yes, Brooke wrote the script or the commentary, but some guy just flat out singles her out and beats her down for no other reason than telling him he's wrong. The irony here is that Stevie, which is some guy's real name purportedly, is bigging himself up to be better than Brooke, while at the same time taking a half hour out of his day to respond to some woman on the internet who's never met before and is miserably attempting to debunk her points. I'm still waiting on his response. That isn't 2 years when he decides to respond like what he did with Brooke. Oh, and it's worth noting how he tried hiding behind his fanbase, because you know how that always works out, doesn't it? This video was fucking awful, and I'm glad I never have to sit through it again on its own. It was so bad that I legit omitted 4 minutes of the original video that was nothing but a complete retreading of the points he made for the last 26 minutes. He literally had to stretch that much to find and try to squash Brooke's points because of course admitting defeat would be too much for him to handle. I honestly think that in some few years from now on, Stevie will look back on this video and slap himself for how big of a fucktard he was for making it. But I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, considering what type of person he's shown himself to be for even releasing this to the public to start with. Before I unveil my number one pick, let's run through some honorable mentions.
Now, Sloth Boy is pretty much a good commentator if you just want to turn your brain off and just not even pay attention to what the fuck he's saying. But when you actually watch his videos, they're fucking retarded.
I mean, seriously, if the NX is not even a big seller and it doesn't improve the Virtual Console, I'm done with you guys. I'm never buying another Nintendo console or handheld if the NX can't be an improvement over the Wii U.
All white people are racist, all men are misogynistic, all cisgender people are transphobic, all members of a majority are biased against the members of the minority or oppressed group.
I felt like DC weren't thinking of fans when they chose this costume design, when they chose this actress.
why did I even bother stalling this? You all knew who this was going to be from the start. It's Roosh V's video about rape culture.
I recently published a proposal called How to Stop Rape, and that suggests that if we legalize rape, women will be more careful with their bodies and not go into the private rooms of men that they don't want to have sex with.
I get that my video on Roosh wasn't the one that you guys deserve to see from me, but this video still enrages me to this day. That's for one reason and one reason only: his message. One thing I've been getting flack for with that commentary is the fact that Roosh's article was satire. But you know why that didn't mean shit to me at the time of its revelation, and why it doesn't mean shit to me now? Because Roosh attached another article to it with his actual thoughts on rape. They were legit no different. You see, Roosh claiming that something he said was satire is just about as credible as Trump saying he respects women more than anyone else does. Second, Roosh wanted to say that men are victims of rape culture more than women are, which anyone with a brain can tell you that's not true. He believes that victim blaming doesn't exist because everyone everywhere wants sex. He probably extends that to children. Saying Roosh is being farcical is giving him way more credit than he deserves. And by the way, he's an admitted rapist. In his book, he openly stated that he's had sex with drunk women while on tour with Europe. And to set the record straight, drunk people can't consent to sex! Roosh's existence is pretty much proof that our own justice system is fucked, because people like him should be locked up and have the jail thrown away. But nah, apparently we gotta value the lives of rapists and their views. I have zero sympathy or respect for this bastard, and you shouldn't have any either. This is pretty much a representative of everything Roosh does, whether it's on YouTube, his books, or his stupid website Return of Kings. He encourages and promotes rape. He has proof of toxic masculinity and male entitlement. Oh, and male privilege, since if a woman tried saying any of the shit he said, she'd be blasted into obscurity. Rightfully, for the record, but still bullshit that Roosh isn't being heavily scrutinized by the internet, yet Anita Sarkeesian, whose literal crime is criticizing video games, is treated like the leader of ISIS. In short, fuck this video, and fuck Roosh. And there you have it, the worst videos I've commentated on. Here's to hoping this year won't add to that.